In this video, we'll look at the three Exa models built into Avairto: Exa Search, Exa Find Similar, and Exa Get Contents. Now, Exa is a AI-driven search model. It's accessible by API. With Exa, we're able to go out and search the web and then pass the search responses to something like an OpenAI text-to-text model. So that's what we're doing here. This is a simple sequence. We're starting with a human in the loop. We're asking for a search phrase, and then we're passing that search phrase to Exa as a response. And we're limiting our results to 5 items. And I can say whatever I want up to the number that the model supports. Auto prompt is true and neural is true. I can also set it to keyword instead of neural if I wanted just a straight keyword search. I can tell it the type of search, what category I want to search for, and I'm just going to search for research papers in this case. I can also indicate a publication date range. So let's do that. Let's say publications that were published in the last 14 days. So that'll keep everything fresh. I can indicate which domains I want to search. So in this case, I just have it narrowed down to the archive.org site, and it's going to pull everything from that website. If I left it blank, it would pull from any site that it wanted to, and if I put in 3, 4, 5 URLs, it would just pull from those sites. Let's pull the highlights. We'll set highlights to yes, process variables to yes, so that it pulls in our search phrase from the human in the loop. And that's pretty much it. So we're taking that Exa search value, we're passing it to OpenAI, and we're telling it to prepare an HTML newsletter based on the information. And the information is, of course, the Exa search. We're asking it to rewrite each title as an attention-grabbing headline with an H2 tag, followed by a summary, followed by a href link out to the original article. So that all looks good. Let's run it. And the first thing it does, human in the loop, it asks me what to search for. I'm just going to say AI and education. So this will find, research papers within the last 14 days about AI and education. And it's going out right now to Exa and doing its thing, and then it'll rewrite it using OpenAI. And so this is what the Exa response looks like. It returns the title, it returns the URL to the article, and in this case it also returns the highlights. Now I could have had it return the entire page content as well, but I limited it to highlights for this. Next, we're passing that information over to OpenAI, and it's rewriting the headlines, the summaries, and formatting it in HTML in kind of a nicely formatted newsletter. So I can copy that, and just for example, I could go out to Google Docs and paste it in, and it'll retain the formatting that it generated in HTML. And from there, if I want to go out and look at each item, I can click on it. And there's the first one, unpacking the black box of AI in education, and it rewrote that as demystifying AI in education, what lies beneath. So did a good job of kind of creating an attention-grabbing headline for each of these. So that is Exa Search. Next, we're going to look at the other two Exa models, which are Find Similar and Get Contents. And for that, I created a separate workflow. This one, we're starting with human in the loop. We're asking it for a company URL. So we're actually going to have the user paste in the web address of any company website. We're taking that URL, passing it to Exa Find Similar, and it's going to find 10 results that are companies that are similar to the URL that I provide. And it's going to provide a summary of the key offerings of each of those companies. Next, it's going to take that information and just kind of reformat it into a numbered list that's easy to review and preview. It'll pass that reformatted list to the human in the loop function, and basically ask the user to review the list and provide the numbers of each company that they want to include in a report. From there, it's going to isolate the URLs of the companies that they asked for, and it's going to pass it to another human in the loop just to make sure that it isolated the correct companies. And it's also going to include the original company that the user provided so that that company can be included in the comparison. After that, it's going to send the list of those URLs back out to Exa. This time it's using Exa Get Contents, and Exa Get Contents can take a list of URLs, one per line, and return either the full text or the full HTML from each URL. So I've got it set to text only. We could do highlights. We're not going to do them in this case. We have process variables set to yes because we're passing this response 8 up top. And we're taking that Exa response, which is all of the URL information from those websites. We're passing it to Claude Sonnet in this case. And it could be any text-to-text model. It could be OpenAI or Mistral or Claude. But we're saying respond with a comprehensive report that compares and contrasts the offerings, marketing, and competitive strategies of each company in the data. Respond with an HTML formatted report, complete with H1, H2, P, A, and tables. And then it passes the data from the Exa query. So that's it. And it could be, we could be, much more specific in our description of the report, but this is enough to get us going. So if I run that sequence, I'm just going to put in the URL of my company, blurfactor.com. So it wants a full, if I just put in blurfactor.com, it won't let me do that because it's not a properly formatted URL. So I need to put in the HTTPS blurfactor.com. And now that's going to start by going out to Exa, and it's going to get a list of 10 similar companies to blurfactor.com, and it's going to present me with a list of those 10 in just a second here. Oh, and it also passes the Exa values to OpenAI and actually generates this numbered list. So I can go through, and it's asking me to review the list below and enter the number of each company I'd like to include in my report. So let's just do, Blocks Marketing, number 1. We'll do WebPress Inc., number 4, and Portland Web Design, number 6. So 1, 4, and 6. I can type that any way I want. This is actually going to, it's an AI looking at my response. So I'll say it like that, 1, 4, and 6. And it should have no problem picking those up. I'll hit continue. And now it's going out using Exa Get Contents to retrieve the full content from each of those home pages. And then it's going to pass that content to Claude and generate an HTML report. Okay, so continue. And so here's the full content that it brought in. So it brings back quite a lot of content. And then it generated this report. And again, I can copy that out into a Google Doc. So I'll just hit copy to clipboard. I'm going to pause it a minute and open a Google Doc for it. Okay, so Google Doc open, and I'll just paste that in. And so this is the report that it generated. So it did an overview of the companies, lists them, summarizes the service offerings, the marketing strategies, the competitive strategies, and gives a conclusion and then a link out to each of the 4 companies. And I could have done that, with all 10 companies that it found if I wanted to. But that's just a quick example of generating a pretty decent report using Exa Get Contents and Find Similar.